Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a modern house build. So this was the first time I ever tried the terrain editor. I had tried it a little bit in the past, but I was kind of afraid to use it. I don't really know why, but I ended up being a little bit afraid. So this was kind of like my first real look at it. Now, granted, this was back in January. And I was having some problems with the computer, so this is when it's coming up now, almost in June. But I wasn't too sure how I wanted this entire layout to work, like landscape-wise. I had an idea, but it didn't really turn out the way I thought it was going to. I definitely see some issues and had to work through other issues. So, I mean, granted, this was the first build I was using with Terrain Editor, so forgive some problems with it. I still like how it turned out in the end. I really like this house as a whole. I had an idea of what I wanted, and I kind of used references from Pinterest in order for this house to work. And I think it turned out really well. The landscaping, again, not the greatest, but I guess you can kind of forgive that for it being the first time I used the terrain editor that wasn't Sims 3. For some reason, I assumed that it was going to work similar to the Sims 3 version, and that is definitely not the case, but it worked out okay. So I wanted to keep this entire house fairly simple. This was supposed to be like a entertaining house, kind of like a producer lives here and he's entertaining all these, or she, entertaining all their, like, you know, rich fancy friends, like actors and other producers, stuff like that. So I wanted to keep the shell of the house simple and make everything else super modern and sleek and inviting for guests to come and hang out there. I kind of like it. I like the way that the whole layout worked. You'll see later that I have an entire, like, opening that you can see from the master bedroom all the way down to the basement, and it's super open concept, and I went a little crazy on the windows. Some might say too crazy, but I don't know. I really liked the look of it, so I just kept it. Yeah, the backyard will come back to haunt us all later because I really wasn't sure how I was supposed to get this to work. I know now that I probably shouldn't have had 3 levels to the backyard and only simplified it with 2. I think that would have worked much better, but I don't know. How I fixed the backyard looks okay. I still think that I could have made it work better if I had given it a little bit more thought. But I think by the end, it had frustrated me to the point where I didn't want to work on the backyard anymore. But it ended up working out okay. I think I really wanted an infinity pool, but that's kind of hard / impossible to do in The Sims. And I really hope that they have the ability to do that later, but I doubt they're gonna work on the pool aspect. Again, we got our pools, and we can do a lot with them, so I guess you're just gonna have to live without the infinity pools. So I knew I was gonna only have 1 bedroom in this build, but I wanted a guest bedroom, and in hindsight, it didn't quite work out. Everything kind of got mushed into the basement. And at first I thought I was going to be in the upper floor, but then I used the entire first or upper level as the master, like upstairs basically. So, yeah, you kind of see that I kind of mushed the guest bedroom downstairs, and the layout turned out a little weird. So you could definitely make that into something else. I would have probably switched the workout room as the guest bedroom and then just switched over that like weird guest bedroom into the workout room, but it turned out okay. Okay. So I also wanted skylights in this build, and for some reason they were giving me issues like they did in the first build that I uploaded to YouTube. I've heard that glitches aren't universal and that some glitches other people get and some no one's ever heard of. And so I've been looking for answers as to why things just disappear sometimes when I'm working on things. Like if I put that flat square somewhere, walls will just start disappearing. And I haven't been able to find an answer, and it doesn't look like anyone really has that similar problem, so I'm either gonna have to like just live with it or maybe reinstall The Sims. I don't want to, but I might have to. Granted, this is from an older PC, and since then I've updated things, so it might turn out better. The problem might have just been on that one PC, but we'll see. We'll see. I haven't been able to build much on the newer PC yet, but we're gonna see. We'll find out. So decorating in this build was a lot of fun. I am all about monochromatic. It's either black and whites or a bunch of color and kind of tacky. That's it. Those are my two go-tos. So I wanted to include a little bit more color than usual in this build, but it didn't really turn out because I always defaulted back to whites and blacks and a little bit of the woods. I like that yellowy timber type wallpaper in this build just to kind of like break it up a bit, but it ended up just being still black and white, so I don't know. I added some color, like I added in some blues and some reds, which looked cute, but it still wasn't really uniform, and I'm still learning on how to make that look a little bit better. I also really liked how I did the kitchen. Now, the kitchen was definitely not supposed to be as big as this in my plan. It was supposed to be as like fairly small, like the dining room size small. And it ended up being a lot bigger than I wanted, but I made it work, and it ended up being too small for a modern rich kitchen, if that makes any sense. I don't know. It worked and it didn't work. I wanted to put in a lot more things, but it turned out that I couldn't, because then it would just be too much and too cluttered. So, but I ended up putting in a fridge, like a built-in fridge and a built-in oven, like 2 ovens. And I've seen these in homes that I've been into and in like fancy homes. I don't know if it's outdated now, but I still find that to be so much fun to like put into the homes, and I don't think they're usable all the homes that I've put them in, whether it be The Sims 4 or The Sims 3, it goes back that long that I've put them in there. I don't think I've ever tried to see if they're usable. I know that the double range works, that's for sure. So I mean, like, your Sims will just use one of the 2 stoves that we have, like, working. But I've never actually tried to see if those double ovens work. At least, like, the bottom one works. Who knows? Maybe I should try that out. Never actually thought about it up until now. So this is where I started putting in the office. And this is where I started to get the idea of putting in a producer's, like it being a producer that lived there. I'm assuming that it's a girl, but it could be a guy that lives here that's a producer. But I've made it very girly, and I have a lot of the Get Famous stuff in there. I also really wanted like a giant wall of storage, and it ended up being a little too much, so I got rid of it in favor of those Get Famous shelving units. And they're not wall to wall. There is gaps, but I still really liked the look of them, and it worked out really well in the space. I really like the marble and that like yellowy gold. And I'm not a fan of yellow gold, like, usually in real life, but for some reason the yellowy gold in The Sims kind of works out with like the marble and stuff, and it doesn't make it too tacky looking. So here we're just like finishing up and putting in, I think, the first of 2. Yeah, I think 2 bars go in here. A private one and one downstairs. And I think I end up using the same bar for both of them. But that's okay. I think a drink cart might have worked better in this. But then I'd have to go into buy debug, and sometimes buy debug makes things super unusable. So I kind of stay away from buy debug as much as possible. But in this one, I think, did I end up putting in? I don't think I ended up putting in any of the awards. I think I just left that blank for like my Sims, in case they end up getting awards for being an actor or something like that. And this second living room situation, I wasn't quite sure what to do with this. I should have just made this a little bit more towards the guest, like them staying, and made it a little bit more homey. But because of how open it is, and like the owner just being able to see right down to the basement, is like kind of an invasion of privacy. So you didn't want to put in like, you know, their own kitchen and living room space, because it's not really private, right? So I don't know. I guess your Sim could like just hang out there if they really wanted to, like as just a second area. If they're having a massive party, they can always just break up into groups, and one goes upstairs and the other one goes in the basement. If I guess. And I really wanted to put in a workout room, because that's just super bougie to me. Like, who has like an entire room dedicated to working out? I sure don't. And like the people that have something, they usually stick it in the basement with like a bunch of other stuff, so they're just like, they can watch TV and whatnot. And then, like, you know, they just have more, it's like more of a multi-purpose room than a dedicated workout room. So I really wanted that to be in there, and like having a spa included in it, like that sauna, just made it more bougie to me. I don't know why. I should have put a door into this bathroom, but having it more of a private ensuite for your guest was probably better, like a better plan. And I like the layout of it, and I'm starting to put in like the toilets in a separate area, just because I could never find places to put toilets that look decent. Like, they always just look like they're just like thrown in there. Like, I keep forgetting where to put a toilet, so it just kind of like ends up being the last thing I put in there, and it always ends up looking weird and out of place. So putting it in its own, like, I want to call it case, in its own like room, I think is probably a better plan for me and how to make better bathrooms. So you can see that I'm finally getting up to the upper floor, and I don't really know what I wanted to do with this in particular. I knew I wanted a giant walk-in closet as well as a giant bathroom because it's, it's the master bedroom. So I don't know, I couldn't figure how to like make the master bedroom proper, like how big I wanted it, and to have a wall that's just straight flush in like a square room didn't really suit the style of the house. So having that little like diagonal wall helped a lot, and it kind of opened up the walk-in closet a bit more too, which I really like. And I really like making walk-in closets, like massive ones, like rooms dedicated just to your wardrobe. I have a giant collection of clothes that basically needs its own separate room. And try as I might to like get rid of clothes, I always end up with a lot more clothes than I need or even wear. I have a problem with clothes. Like, I love them, but I'm so bad at like styling myself that I just end up wearing the same clothes over and over again. I need to update my wardrobe. I need somebody else to just come in and be like, no, this is not what you're wearing now. You're wearing this, and I'll just wear it and trust that they made me look decent. So another thing that I really like that's really bougie to me is having that like half wall for your like tub. I don't know why, I really like it. It's like its own little like corner where you're like, you feel safe and comforted. I don't know, I really like it, and I really want to put them in all my builds, but they never really look like they fit in most of them. So I just put them in like the modern houses like this one. And I really like cluttering up that whole the cabinetry, even though in a bougie house, I'm assuming that you're gonna have places for everything so that there's no clutter whatsoever. At least that's what I think, but I don't know. I don't live in a proper bougie house, and I've never really been in a multi-million-dollar home before, so I wouldn't really know. So this I saw in, I think, a Pinterest picture somewhere. I don't remember. Again, this was like late January, so this is months ago, but I think I definitely saw this in a Pinterest picture, and I really wanted to have those like slatted walls just to kind of break it up and make it into like a covered porch area. But I didn't put in the spa, like, no, it's not called a spa. What are they called? Hot tubs. A hot tub. I didn't want to put the hot tub like directly in there just because, like, I don't know, but you could definitely put in more stuff to make it a more usable space and it being more comfortable. But I just kind of put in that hot tub because I don't know, I guess didn't really think of anything else. There's so much going on in this home for like party stuff. I didn't really think about like where are they gonna go for their own peace and quiet. It was just more so like, where are they gonna party? Like, what are they gonna do when they're hanging out there? That kind of thing. So this was one of the fixes that I came up with when it came to the foundation being so big. You can't put anything on the foundation itself proper unless it's like one of those decorative things from Seasons. So I came up with like just putting in like a garden wall type scenario and hoping for the best. It turned out okay. I would have liked to do something else, but I couldn't really fit anything in. So that was just what I had in mind. Putting in a lot of the vegetation definitely helped break it up and make it a little less like sheer wall and kind of ugly looking. And I don't know, I definitely wish that you could either put something on foundation, especially as like tall as that foundation can get, or I could have just fixed it where it's not 3 different levels of backyard. But I didn't really come up with that idea until like very late in the game. And by then I had already like fixed it and done things, and it was just too late. So I just kind of kept it there. And I was also having a lot of problems trying to fix the grass. The grass was giving me a lot of problems because I didn't know that the grass was not one color. It was just like a bunch of colors just kind of like placed on top of each other to like blend it all in. So I was having a hell of a time trying to figure out what to do. And it was a nightmare just trying to fix it. And I didn't really end up fixing it. I think I kind of made the problem worse. I should have just left it and tried to deal with the sand itself. But I fixed it to a point. My major problem was I was starting to see that there was gaps like in the fence, and the fencing wasn't working properly, even though I know for a fact that those glass panels were there. So I had other problems with this house, and I'm pretty sure it had a lot to do with just the way the game was glitching. And I was getting really fed up at this point because it had been, I think, 8 or 10 hours into this build, and things were starting to go really wrong. Not like with the build itself, but just glitch wise. And I had to cut a lot of it out because it was just getting to be too much. And maybe it was because of how big that build was and the way that I was trying to like make it work, that the game was just not having, like, it just wasn't working out properly. But I don't know, I was just having a lot of problems at the point in the landscaping. I wanted to leave to the last so I could like come at it with a different point of view, but it ended up being more of an issue than anything. So that was it. I think I might end up, before I put this on the gallery, fix at least the front yard where that giant piece of sand is, and like make it a little less ugly. I tried to leave as much of the sand as possible just so I didn't have to like try and get rid of it, because I knew it wasn't going to work out the way I wanted it to. And you'll see later why it didn't work out. But I think, yeah, before I put it on the gallery, I'll just I'll fix the grass to make it more look blended in. So this last bit, I knew what I wanted, I just didn't know how to make it work out. I wanted those levels to have those gravel, but I wanted to also see other points like what you were seeing with the woods and stuff, but I really wanted to make that like area a graveled area and put plants on it. I've seen those in other builds, and in real life you don't really get the succulents in my area. It's Canada, so we get a lot of rain and a lot of darkness most of the time, so succulents don't really like work out in my area. But I'm assuming because this is Del Sol, succulents will definitely work out, so these plants would work well, and I think it works out with the whole minimalistic feel of the front. And I also wanted to try and put in a water feature, but that didn't really work out. So these little like 1x2 squares or rectangles kind of helped bring in that what I really wanted in it, which was just like that gravel with that water type look. And I was just putting in more vegetation, trying to like get rid of a lot of the foundation. There's a lot of foundation in this build. So the pictures are going to come up. I had a lot of fun with the pictures themselves. I think the build turned out really well. I like it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I definitely think it turned out a lot better than what I thought it was going to turn out when I first started building this. And I don't know, this modern house was a challenge. So I hope you guys like this video. Like and comment down below, and please subscribe for more videos. And I hope you guys have a good morning, evening, or afternoon. See you guys later.